I didn't even know you could do all of this with Zoom. We could stream live on YouTube. That's dope.
Yeah. We usually go on Facebook, but people like Dr. Fam Diesel boycotting Facebook right now. So
Yeah, man. I had to. Mark Zuckerberg,
Do all of this with Zoom. We could stream live on YouTube. That's
yeah, I got the link right here. Let me give it to y'all in the chat.
Mark Zuckerberg wilding, man.
All right, link is up. We are actually live on Facebook YouTube right now. So here we go.
Can we have that link on Insta, please?
I can share it there.
Thanks.
I shared it there. I'm just sharing it to a bunch of my broadcasts right now before we get started, so people can join.
So we can share this YouTube link to Facebook?
Yeah, everywhere.
Okay. I'm a bit of a grandma when it comes to these things. No disrespect to grandmothers out there.
All right. I see some people. In the YouTube universe. Somebody jamming. Who's that? All right, cool. All right, we're gonna get started right now.
All right, sure.
Everybody good? Everybody, I need a couple minutes to share the link.
Done.
Well, this is Stuck in the Middle podcast. I am RifleX, the host. This is a platform for entrepreneurs, innovators, creatives of African descent. And we just discuss, stories, ideas, experiences of how you can break the mold. We've been doing this since 2017. It's been great. This here is stuck in the middle platforms, the couch talk. Where we have that hot topic, we have that hot button topic that people, and we don't have enough conversations about. And tonight, man, I'm excited about this one. It's different. It's really different. My parents might disown me after they hear me having these conversations, but I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Got a special cast. You know what I'm saying? Like some returnees with some new faces. So I'm gonna call them out, have them introduce themselves. Just name what you do, you know what I mean? Like, just something that you wanted people to know. And then a quick fun fact about you. So I'm gonna start with my man Paul. My man Paul, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's going on, man? Well, I'm into IT, right? I do a little bit of software stuff currently, and I don't know. I'm the type that just like to use technology to solve issues, problems. I'll say fun fact, maybe not so fun, but one example would be currently, changing the concept of this idea called Susu that we do normally, and creating a mobile app for it, and making sure that people in the diaspora, Africans, can actually tap into that application and use it as opposed to the traditional way of doing things. So
that's what you're working on right now.
Say again.
That's what you're working on right now?
Yeah, it's actually almost in the App Store, man. Hopefully it should be coming up soon.
All right, man.
Explain to people who don't know what that is, a Susu is.
So Susu is like a way. Sure, it's a collaborative way of actually saving money. So for example, friends of five can decide to save money by contributing $100 each per week to one person, like every single week. And that way, you save money off the chat. In other words, not depending on the banking system, but doing it yourself between your friends.
My parents would love that. We call it Jangi. I didn't know some people call it Susu. I had no idea, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. It's an amazing idea. And honestly, I got involved with a group of people who actually, there's about 30 of them. Contribution is about $200 per week. And like, we're able to save a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I see.
I dig it.
I dig it too, man. Since you're already on the mic, my man Mike, go ahead, bro. Let the people know what you want, who you are, and all that good stuff, bro.
First of all, yeah, like I really like the idea of what Paul is doing with the Susu thing. I think that's dope, bringing like a technological collaborative thing so people from all over can combine and whatnot, because it's something my parents been doing. My little brother does it, whatnot, and it's a way for like, for kind of like keep the money and like, your friend group or African community, you want to help people establish a business. Everybody collabs on that. So I think good on that. My name is Michael Ibirakwa, Yoruba, Nigerian born, US raised for the most part. What do I do? It's kind of a weird question to answer. I guess you could just call me, I don't know, multi-hyphenate artist. I do a lot of things with the one giant goal of just making the world a better place. That's what I really want to do. I'm really into just connectivity and talking to people and getting to know people and seeing how we can find common ground to make the world, just better to live in.
I dig it, man. Mike got a lot of hats and he wears them proper. That's a Renaissance man right there. Giselle, how you feeling, sis? How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. I'm so excited about being here with all of you guys.
Let the people know who you are, what you do, fun fact.
Yeah, so I'm Giselle. I do a bunch of things. So I'm a nurse. I'm very busy being a frontline worker right now. I work in the ICU. And I have to apologize in advance if my voice sounds a bit rough, because I actually worked last night and I haven't really slept. So yes. So aside from that, I'm into filmmaking as well. My filmmaking life is mostly known for my role in Daughters in America, which is a web series. Some brand new episodes coming soon, sometime in the future. I'm also, of course, very important. I'm a wife, I'm a mother. Those are very important roles to me. And I'm also a brand new YouTuber. That's like another side hustle I just started recently. Where I get to talk about locks and why it's important for us to keep our hair in a natural state, and why locks can be professional and glamorous and all the standards.
I dig it.
I dig it. All right, Femi, Dr. Fem Dizzle, what's good, bro?
What's poppin', Reflex? Thanks for having me. Reflex is so generous, stuck in the middle with your platform. I appreciate y'all always having me on. I'm Femi. I'm a mental health clinician by degree wise. However, side hustles, I'm an MC. So baby shower, weddings, birthday parties, you can call on me. Also I started my own company called Melanated Fathers. Documentary we done. I'm actually looking for an editor. Giselle, you said you are a filmmaker. I need somebody to come help me, put the finishing touch into this documentary, because I'm trying to showcase, Black excellence in terms of Black fathers, man, because I feel like the media don't do enough of that. And that's what my company is about, just being a resource for, Black fathers when it comes to, let's say, getting them linked with like job programs or mental health services, or helping their kids with like, after school stuff. So that's really what I'm trying to do, as well as Reflex and I had this conversation. He's trying to help me on this journey. I just finished my first book.
Nice.
So I'm looking for a Black editor, a Black publishing company or something, because I'm only trying to do business with my people. So if y'all, holla at me.
I got you. Dr. Fem Dizzle, man. Therese, how you feeling? How you feeling, sis? Welcome back. The glass is still popping.
Oh yeah, my bad. I'm before my guys, I'm also 1/4 for the Afrikaners podcast. If they're listening,
Oh,
before they fry me, I didn't forget you guys.
How you feeling, Therese?
I'm excited. Good. And I get
Fun fact, all that good stuff.
okay. Well, I am a safety coordinator, currently full-time student. Yes,
I
just want it done quick, and I don't want it to drag.
I don't envy
So
you.
I'm a full-time student right now, and let's see what else. Fun facts about me. I love to cook. It's actually, if I'm stressed, I cook. It helps. I'm always cooking something. Always.
Jollof.
Where you stay? Where you stay at? Let me come get some.
I am in Oklahoma, so you're welcome anytime.
Nah, no,
Hey,
you good.
He said you good. East Coast people don't like to move.
Nah, we don't.
Y'all don't like to move, but yeah, I guess that's one fun thing about me.
We got last but certainly not least, Sarah. What's good, sis? I think you.
Myself. Hey, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I am Sarah V. I have a podcast. Well, I have two podcasts.
Chai.
One is She is Africa, where I interview African female creatives, and they talk about how their culture has influenced their vision. And then the second podcast is the affirmation podcast, where I basically give daily affirmations that teach women how to speak life into themselves. So,
We appreciate you, sis.
and then I'm a mom. I am a fiance, and working on myself.
Interesting. We got a married woman in the building. We got a fiance. We got a bunch of single dudes. I guess we're just gonna get right into it, man. We got people watching right now. We're talking open relationships, polygamy. For those who don't know what that really is both partners agreeing to have or to have sex with, or to see other people while they're in a relationship. I don't know if I got that definition wrong. If anybody wanna,
Must it be sexual?
I know. That's
So
go ahead, Mike.
I think I might be the only polyamorous one in this.
That's why we brought
you.
Happy as you.
Speakers. So polyamory at its broadest form, if you want to not get too specific, polyamory, the umbrella is defined as consensual non-monogamy. So that could be you and your partner deciding to have sex with other people. You and your partner decide to have romantic relationships with other people. You and the partner decide to do, whatever that isn't under the umbrella of monogamy, to put it very broadly.
How, you know what I mean? Like, I guess we're just going, how do you begin to have, and this is open for everybody, an open relationship or open marriage, polygamous marriage? Like, what are the, conversations that need to be had? Is anybody else who's monogamous open?
You read Psalms, and you tell them about King David.
This guy.
He's funny.
Is anybody else who is monogamous not open? Has anybody explored it before or open to it?
Ollie?
Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say I'm proudly monogamous, and I've never done anything like a polyamorous situationship or relationship, whatever. So I don't really know. I feel like I'm here to really learn more than to really speak on it. But I do think that one aspect which is important, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that it probably needs to be discussed from the beginning, and you shouldn't have to surprise your partner with it. Right? That's what I think is one very important aspect.
That's facts. That's why I put the consensual non-monogamy, because if the other person doesn't know about it, it's not consensual. You're just cheating. You're just being a dog at that point.
Exactly.
Or whatnot. So you have to, like me, the only reason it's in my bio is because I'm a homebody. So I don't, most of the people that I meet, or like women-wise, romantic, it's like through social media. So I have that in my bio, so people know from jumping in when we get in a conversation in DMs or whatever. I tell them, I'm like, yo, I'm poly. I'm not with the whole, one-on-one monogamy life. And if that's something you're cool with, you can go forward. If it's not, then we don't. And one thing that's really, 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 really key in polyamorous relationships is communication. I feel like communication is even bigger in polyamorous relationships than monogamous relationships, because there's so much going on and there can be so many other people involved. You have to, make sure that everybody is well informed. So you have to communicate with your partner, and your partner's partner has to know what's going on. There can't really be any surprises, because then trust starts to break down. It's like, why did you keep this from me? Why didn't you tell me about this person, or what you did or what you didn't do and whatnot? So it's like communication is like probably the number one thing when it comes to polyamorous relationships, at least for me. I don't know. I can't speak for every poly relationship.
Can I ask you a question, my brother?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this poly lifestyle, I want to say our forefathers, our grandfathers, they did it. That was our culture. Yeah. However, my brother, being as though it's 2020, I feel like, we're in this society that kind of shuns that. You get what I'm saying? That, there's a lot of negative connotations and negative stigmas when it comes to that. So for you, I guess, in terms of you living a poly lifestyle, is it like you want to just have relationships? Do you desire to, get married and,
So that's my bad if you were, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So that's a good question. That's something I always get when I've literally been on a date with a woman or whatnot, and I was telling her that I was, at this point we weren't on the romantic stage. It's kind of like, oh, you look good, I look good, let's go out, see what happens. And I was telling her that I'm polyamorous, and she was like, oh, that's just code for fuckboy. And I looked at her like, what? And she was like, yeah, you just want to go around, and have your cake and eat it too, have your little your main joint and then have all these side joints that you're fucking. I'm like, that's not really the case. And even if it was, it's still valid as long as I'm making sure to keep everybody in the loop. Like, I'm not lying to anybody. But for me, it's not about the sex. Because if it was just about the sex, I could just stay single. Like, I don't need to get in a relationship to have sex, but polyamory to me is, I believe that it's completely possible to be in love or to be in deep romantic relationships with more than one person at a time. I completely reject the notion that if you're in love with somebody, you can only be in love with one person, because I don't know, people have this definition of love to where it's like all or nothing. Like, I need to have all of your love, otherwise it's not really love. And I really don't feel like that's the case. Why can't I love you for one reason and somebody else for another reason? So that's my whole basis for polyamory.
I agree with you, Micah.
I mean, I'm monogamous, but I do buy your idea of not, like, there's no way you can say for sure that you can only be in love with one person at a time throughout your life. And I feel like that's a challenge. That's a challenge that most people in monogamous relationship face. And just because they don't want that stigma of saying, oh, you're polyamorous or whatever. So they go out and they act upon the feelings that they have for someone else, So, I mean, it's just, I feel like it's a misconception that monogamous people have, like, oh, you're my soulmate and I'm gonna love only you. Like, you see people all the time that you're gonna like for a different reason, you know. But the whole challenge being monogamous is like, I'm not gonna act upon it because I chose to be with one person.
I actually have
But
a
I'm sticking with that person, and that's what it is.
And Sammy, I didn't answer your question. Fully answer. I actually don't want to get married, and that's part of my reason for also being poly, because I feel like love and relationships in this society, like modern times, is and largely in part, based on ownership. It's like, if I love you or you love me, or if we want to be together, it's kind of like an ownership thing. Like, you're mine and I'm yours, rather than like, I love you and I want to experience you while you experience me, and whether or not you're only experiencing me and I'm only experiencing you shouldn't, it shouldn't make a difference. Like, it's like, if we apply the whole logic of, relationships these days to other things, to where it's like, oh, like, I don't know, let's take like Skittles, for example, right? Why can't I like Skittles and Starburst and love them both equally, rather than, just being like, oh, I like Skittles and now I can't like Starburst? But like, when you apply that to relationships, people don't want to hear it. They're just like, oh, nah. If you're with me, you can only be with me. You have to give me, all of your being and all this shit. And I kind of feel like that's unfair in a way to expect from one person. And it's
I like to comment on that.
Yeah, me too. I want to comment too.
Maybe to an extent unhealthy.
Looks like we're all gonna chew Michael.
Let's go.
But like, maybe to an extent unhealthy, because like, when you're looking for somebody, because a lot of people are like, oh, I need somebody to complete me. A lot. I'm not saying everybody. A lot of people are like, I need somebody to complete me. I'm like, no, you don't. That's not what love should be about. You're complete by yourself. You guys should be experiencing each other through life, with each other as you grow and whatnot, rather than like, oh, I found my other half, I found the person that makes me whole and whatnot. So I just don't like the whole ownership part of marriage and my relationship.
Sarah then Paul.
Quick one. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think that's I think it's a misconception. I think that when you're in a relationship and you're choosing to be monogamous, it's a choice. You're with that person because you choose to be with that person. It's like, I know that there's so many other people out here that I've loved or that I could love, but for me, I'm choosing to be in a relationship with you. And I don't think it's necessary. Some people go into relationships, and I don't think it has to be a monogamous relationship. It can be any type of relationship, traditional or non-traditional, and they feel like, I'm looking for validation, or I'm looking to seek something from somebody to complete me. But I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, only people who are monogamous that's their mindset. I feel like
I wasn't saying that. I agree with you.
Yeah. I feel like when you go into the relationship, it's a complete choice. It's, for me, it's like, I'm someone that's looking to be with someone else, and for us to build together, exclusively. That's why I chose to be in the relationship that I'm in, you know what I mean? Or the relationships that I've chosen. It doesn't necessarily like, oh, I own you or you're mine, but we're in this relationship together and we're building together and we're choosing to keep it between the two of us. I don't know. Anybody else can add?
What are your thoughts, Paul? Thanks,
Sure. Michael, so my question for you is, do you ever feel like this, did you get to a point to make this decision? And also, if you did, do you see this, like, how long do you see this continuing? Like, for you, is it like a way of life, something that you've really, decided, like, for the rest of your life, this is what you'll be, or just more of a phase for you? That's yeah.
So it's hard to answer that question definitively, because I don't know the person I'm going to be 7 years from now, right? So I can't tell you for a fact if I'm going to be polyamorous from now, but I feel like, yes, this isn't a phase for me. This is a thing that it's a lifestyle choice, because this is how I truly feel on the inside, rather than just like, this is just like something I want to explore for a little bit. Because I've been in this polyamorous thing for a while now. I want to say, I don't know, I think 3-4 years. what all started it off was a lady I was talking to at the time. She was polyamorous, and I was monogamous. Like I was I was one of those people that I'm super monogamous. Like if you're with me, I don't play any of that work husband, work girlfriend shit. Don't flirt with nobody or whatnot. You with me? Like I don't play that shit.
So you used to own them.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not on. Just like just respect, all that cheating shit. No, we don't do that. But she was explaining to me. She was like, "What? Well, with polyamory, you can still have the connection and the love and everything you want from your relationship, but you can have it with multiple people if you choose. Like a lot of people who are polyamorous aren't actually with 2 or 3 people at a time. They're just open to that possibility.
Yeah.
Like me, I've never had 2 girlfriends at the same time, but I've always been open. Like one of the girls I was dating one time, I was at her house. She was like, "Oh yeah, I have a date right after this," and literally, she was like, "I don't know what to wear," and I was like, "Yo, tell me about the guy." And she told me about the guy, and I helped her pick out the outfit for the dude, and she went on her date, and that was
You
it.
did
After we
what?
hung up. It also helps
Okay,
for
can
me. I don't like feel like romantically. I've never like felt romantic jealousy. Like even when I was monogamous, if my girl was like talking to somebody or a guy for what people might feel like is too long, I never got jealous. I'm just like, that's my girl. I trust her. If she does cheat, then the relationship is over. It's not a reflection on who I am. So why get jealous?
So somebody on Twitter said most people talk down on Jada, the Jada Will situation of polygamy,
Polygamy.
relationships. They talk about open relationships because they're actually in one and just don't know it yet. What do you?
That's facts.
Yeah. I mean, I would say.
Wait, they actually.
But it
what?
comes back down. But it comes back to the idea of consent.
Exactly.
Right?
They're not
It goes back to
consenting
the idea
to
of consent. And I kind of wanted to comment on everything that Mike has said from the beginning. I mean, when I think about, what you were saying earlier, as far as like you reject the notion of being in this monogamous relationship when you own the other person, I think it comes down to the idea of compatibility. So, for example, if I value monogamy, obviously I can't force, or I can't basically force somebody who believes in polyamory to be in a relationship with me. However, if I meet another person who has the same monogamous values as I do, there's no reason that this relationship will not blossom and be a beautiful thing. The other thing that I don't know, somebody was mentioning the idea of soulmates. I think it was Therese. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to add that I don't really believe in the idea of soulmates either, because first of all, I think everybody deserves love. And let's say, for example, if I was 20 years old, I married my soulmate and something happened to him and he passed. Does that mean that I'm gonna live the rest of my life without a soulmate?
Without a
Or
soul?
does that mean, does that mean that the next potential partner I'm gonna have, does that mean that that person is not compatible with me? So yes, I don't really like the idea of soulmate. I definitely think that you can be compatible with different people actually, but it comes down to the idea of consent and what we choose to commit to.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I actually had a client that I was counseling. He's married.
I got a question for you. I think I know where you're going, and I was going to ask you this question in light of what Mike said. What if a client comes to you and says, "Hey, I'm married or I'm in a relationship, and I propose to my partner and say, hey, I want us to see other people, and they're not open to it." You know what I mean? And that's messing with their mental or whatever. Now, how do you, what I'm saying, like Mike first femme diesel, like how do you counsel them? What do you go from? And then Mike, how do you respond to that? Like, what I'm saying? Like if you go to your girl and she's like, I ain't with it. How do you respond to that? I'm a femme diesel first, and then Mike.
So if you propose to your girl that you with, that hey, you want to like see other people but they not with it,
yeah,
I mean, that's the thing. If you've expressed that to her and she's expressed her true feelings that she's not with it, then the ball's in the guy's court. Are you gonna stay with her knowing that she's not with it? Are you gonna go behind her back and cheat like a lot of people do? Or are you gonna go your separate ways because it seems like you both don't, your ideals or your philosophies on relationships don't align? So that guy has a choice to make, and it's up to him to make the choice. As counselors, we don't tell them what to do. I mean, it seems like it seems like you should exit stage left because clearly the lady has told you she's not with it, and you're really saying this is what your heart desires. So it's like you both desire exactly. Don't be by force. You both desire two different things. So it's like what will you do? But it's. I mean, if it was up to me, I would be like maybe just not compatible and you just delaying the inevitable, in the future. So you might as well.
Hey Flex, just to piggyback, you were talking about the Twitter comment, people talking down on Jada. I was reading up on the situation a little bit, and from what I gathered, it seems like people feel sorry for the guy. What's his name? August. I think they feel sorry for him because it seems like the expectations were different on both sides. So of course, Jada has said many times, I remember seeing that her video on the Red Table Talk, that no matter what, she and her husband will never divorce. Even if they each see somebody on the side, divorce is just not an option. So could it be that when August went into the situation, he really fell in love and he thought that maybe they could be together, just the two of them one day, and
August got his feelings hurt.
When he realized that Jada was never, when he saw that Jada was not going to leave her husband, that's probably when things started going south.
No. You guys will not flip the script on August Alsina. Jada Pinkett manipulated this young boy.
There is no manipulation. He was a consenting adult, though.
But listen.
He consented and got his feelings hurt, and now he's crying foul. That's what happened.
This is crazy because if R. Kelly gets a 19-year-old who is an adult, we will say R. Kelly is a predator. But if it's Jada Pinkett who gets a 23, 24-year-old August Alsina, will say, oh, he's consenting. That's the double standard. That's the double standard.
He's very smart.
You're comparing apples and oranges.
He's very self-aware.
No. Because August Alsina has years and years of trauma. If you know that guy's story, if you know his relationship with his mom, if you know his sister passed away, if you know that he was on drugs, he was addicted to drugs. So Jada Pinkett came and said, I do Red Table Talk. I do Yala Van Sant. Let me counsel you spiritually and this and that. And bam, now she's counseling him with her vagina. So please, didn't pray on this guy.
Let's let somebody finish their thought, and then the next person come through. Mike, you want to come to his defense or chime in here, please?
Yeah, I was like, before they drag you, let me help you out, because I know the point you're trying to make, but I feel like you using R. Kelly is not comparable in this.
I know.
So with R. Kelly, we have evidence against him. He has manipulated and done horrible things to women. With this whole Will Jada Alsina thing, everything is speculation. Nobody really knows what's going on within this relationship. We don't know if August came on to Jada first. We don't know the level of trauma that August may or may not have experienced. We don't know if Will knew any of this. So everybody on Twitter is just making assumptions because everybody wants to talk and be retweeted and sound smart. Nobody really knows what the fuck is going on in their relationship. So it's like everything we're saying is just opinion based. We don't really have any facts to go on. But I do get what you're saying. If from what I've seen on Twitter, I haven't investigated this. I don't really know celebrities' lives like that. It seems like August was introduced into the family when he was vulnerable. He had lost people. He was fighting a disease or condition, and people took that as like, well, if this was a woman going through this, and a man was like, oh, let me help you, and then that helped turned into now we're having sex, foul play is suspected because it seems like it could be like manipulation. You took advantage of this person at a weak moment. And I agree, but we just don't know if that's the case.
Would it be true if it was Will though? Will and a 19-year-old? Would it be the
You said
same?
what?
Would it be the same if it was Will Smith and a 19 or 18-year-old?
Oh, they would be dragging Will Smith right now.
Of course. I mean, yeah, we can agree there's a double standard with that for sure. Definitely.
I mean, maybe it's just the intensity of the dragging, because like I said, I'm not on Twitter, but some of the few comments I've seen like on YouTube and whatnot, they actually, it seems like people feel sorry for August. So I mean,
like
maybe
said,
they're not canceling Jada yet. They're not at the level of canceling her yet, I guess, but they're not exactly seeing her as a hero here.
Yeah,
that could be more of a personal opinion, right? Of people, right? Just like Michael stated earlier, I think this is a type of relationship that if you choose to endorse somebody in, you have to be 100%, right, about who you are and what you're interested in and what whatnot. And I'm pretty sure, given the data of how long these two have been doing it, Jada and Smith, I don't think they have anything to lose, communicating that information to the guy we're just talking about. So I think it's just a situation of him being maybe a monogamy person, caught up in this thing, and then when Jada left, he's feeling sorry about the whole thing. That
does happen. I can speak on that because I've talked to a woman where I told her off jump, I was like, I am polyamorous, don't want to get married. None of that is what I want to do. And she chose to continue. Like if you guys have seen Insecure, when Molly was with Dro, knowing Dro, was in a polyamorous thing or open marriage with his boo or whatnot. And the girl I was with, kind of like made the decision that Molly made and chose to continue going on with me, regardless of the fact that she was monogamous and I was polyamorous. I was like, at that point, whatever heartbreak or jealousy you experience is on you. Because I told you everything. So if you want to continue this with me, you can't get mad at me seeing other women or doing this, that, and the third. So if that was the case with August and he knew what was up, he can't be upset that, Jada didn't leave Will for me or this, that, and the third.
Yeah. Mike, on this,
what Jada, Will, and August situation, because this is more, and it's great. It's making for more cool and meat and bones. I don't know what you wanted to say, Giselle, before I ask the next question.
Oh, I was just gonna comment that if she still chose to be with you despite knowing that you were polyamorous. Sometimes women, we hope to change men. You get with a bad boy and you hope that you will be so good to him, that you'll be so special that he would change for you. So many women make that mistake. So I'm not surprised that she did that. That she still chose to be with you, even though your values were completely opposite.
So this question is for everybody.
Wait, I have a response. I have a different take on the whole Will and Jada thing and August thing. I think that because when I watched the interview that he did with Angela Yee, he's very you could tell that he's been on this journey spiritually to figure himself out, and he's very cautious with things that he says. He's very you could tell he's studied. And he's gotten to know himself, right? So I don't think that she manipulated him. A part of me feels like he was using her to heal himself. She was feeding him. She was giving him the things that he needed, to deal with all the trauma that he's had. And then maybe he just kind of got wrapped up in everything because he thought that he could still keep going on with her and doing what they were doing. I don't know.
But it was it's a mutually beneficial relationship though. Is he crying foul? I don't think he was crying foul though. He was just saying something that happened and he benefited, she benefited, Will got a happy wife, all this.
A part of me feels like they were, I think they were trying to play him in some type of way. Because the way he came off in the interview was kind of like, you're not gonna play me. This is what happened. I don't know.
He's trying to sell some records. Somebody on YouTube says, somebody on YouTube says, shout out to Anna, she says Jada's relationship status is open to public information, so August can't claim he didn't know.
Exactly.
So my question, is open. This is open to everybody. Is what happens when you in a monogamous relationship, I mean polygamous relationship, and one person starts to fall in love. Is that a main thing? And what happens when somebody has to fall in love with quote unquote the main thing, if that's the thing in the situation?
I mean, there's love, and you can plenty of people who are in polyamorous relationships are like in love with each other. There's a guy, I forgot his name, that's real famous, some white guy that's real famous in the polyamorous community. And him and his husband have been together for I think 23 years. They're deeply in love or whatnot, but they still also see other people, whether romantically or sexually. But I think what you're saying is like when somebody gets to a point where they're like, okay, maybe I'm not polyamorous and I just want to be with you. So that I like the other question, the ball is in your court. If somebody came to me and said that after we've been together for a while, I'd probably be like, well, I'm not willing to change my lifestyle choices because that's part of who I am for you. And if that's a problem, then we're gonna have to split or whatnot. Like I always say, like RifleX, you follow me on we're friends on Facebook, and I always say like the only woman on earth probably that I would be willing to be monogamous for is Lupita. That's probably the only woman ever. But besides that, everybody else is just gonna be a polyamorous thing. So I would probably just exit that relationship.
Hey, yeah, Lupita, come and save our brother. Oh, please. Giselle, you said on Twitter when we posted the August and Jada video and Angela Yee video, you said, and this is your words, you said you are open to a polygamous relationship in the talkings. I'm taking the conversation on a whole different level right now. You are open to a polygamous relationship in the talking stage, and after that, it's exclusive. Define, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is a talking stage, first of all? And you know what I mean? Like, how do you make sure that when you quote unquote exclusive, that polygamous situation don't bleed into the exclusivity? You know what I mean? Just even heard of
I said that. Okay. No, to me it's very simple, right? The talking stage for me is that part when we're not committed yet, because I definitely believe in non-exclusive dating at the beginning. So because I make a difference between someone I'm committed to and someone that I'm just kind of hanging out with. So at the beginning, I don't put all my eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? So I see different people until we both decide that, okay, it's going to be me and you. So at that stage, yeah, you can do what you want. I can do whatever. Just don't bring me no disease or nothing. But after that, like once we made that choice that, okay, it's going to be you and me, I'm sorry, it's going to have to be you and me only. Okay?
So question. For anybody, question to Giselle, but I think anybody here can answer this. I never understood if we're not together, if we're not boyfriend and girlfriend, why are we exclusive? Why don't people talk to multiple people at once up until that official boyfriend and girlfriend title? Because like a lot of people are like, oh, if you're talking to me, you can only be talking to me. And I'm like, at that point, then we're just in a relationship. What's the point?
No, I agree with you. And that's why I say that in the beginning, when we're still talking, when we haven't made any commitment to each other, I think you can talk to different people. You can date different people. You can get to know different people until you make a choice. Now, sometimes the person you choose may not choose you. And that's when you split, right? And to just use the word you used earlier. So
talking stage though, like this is like
that's what I said. The talking stage is like, okay, I'm getting to know you. I'm ruling out stuff like, are you crazy? Are you a psychopath? I'm ruling out stuff.
Are you polygamous? I'm kidding.
Very important question.
Oh, I'm very happily monogamous. But I mean that that was before. I mean, I'm married now. I'm in a monogamous marriage now. But that's just what I believe. When you haven't made the commitment yet, yeah, you can see different people. You can see different people. You can get to know different people until you make a choice. Now, hopefully, the person you choose also chooses you.
That's true.
Hopefully.
Paul, what's good, bro? You might be quiet over there.
No. I mean, I think it's all, for me, it's a personal preference, right? So for me, there's the insertion here for me is, being my religious background, right, and what I believe, which is being a Christian, right. I believe in seeing one woman, having a conversation, starting it off, and then if it hit off, it hit off. If it doesn't, move on to the next person, as opposed to, and it all depends on what you can also process, right? Maybe for me, I can only process being in one person at a time, communicating one person at a time, as opposed to having multiple. Then you have so many choices, right? I don't have that. I don't want to have that. I just want to see this one cat and be like, I like this one, right? And have that conversation and where it goes.
But see, that's not a good way to shop though, because even if you go to most of these websites, they give you the option, click and compare. Like you have to compare side by side. How would you know exactly what kind of apple you like if you're not trying the other apples that are out there?
Before I select that one person though, it's several things that I look at, right? Before I even make that move to say, okay, you're the one I want to start talking to, right? So like I said, there's so many biblical factors I look at, there's so many other things I can discuss here. But before I even say that I want to be with you, there's so many things I look at before I approach you. So I can suit 3 girls, study both, all 3 of them, not necessarily date them, and then end up selecting one out of the 3 that I think is more compatible. So there's a way you can also observe.
So, but I want to know, how do you study them? What do you classify as study them? Because you have to get to know people in different scenarios and different environments to be able to know how they react and get like an organic reaction, and not just, oh, I'm going out on a date, let me get my best foot forward, let me get where's my good Becky weave, I'm a good girl to, like you can know all that in like, explain that to me.
It all depends, right? So for me, I can befriend all 3, right? Just be friendship, right? Through this friendship, we can just be friends, right? Through friendship, you learn about people, right? And then from that point on, you choose whoever you feel like will much more fit.
All right, but Paul, just let me not cut you short. In that learning to know the 3, let me just ask him something real quick.
Paul,
so in being friends with all those 3 girls, you have intention of picking someone out of them to be your girlfriend, right? That is shopping. That's the talking stage. That's it. So you're doing exactly what we're talking about.
It's window shopping. It's window shopping.
Right. I'm just saying,
it is window shopping, and
I'm just saying I don't like the concept of window shopping too much. I like to just.
But you're doing it though. You're doing it. Like you can't say you don't like it and you do it.
Paul, it's window shopping because
confused.
Paul, because you are observing them. Like when we window shop, we don't go in the store. We are looking through the window. We are picking, right? So when you are friends with these ladies, it's not like you are dating them, but you are studying them. So you are window shopping.
As their friend.
You are window shopping.
You can't be doing that studying as a friend.
No, as long as that intention is there, no, it's not pure friendship.
Let me ask you.
That things you can do and things you cannot do.
Flex, wait. Flex, wait. On top of that, there's another layer to this thing. Okay. Especially us women, we don't have time. We have a biological clock to worry about. We have pressure from parents to worry about. We have too many things to. I can't put all my eggs in one basket before you choose me. Before you choose me, okay? I can't put all my eggs in one basket like that. You know what I'm saying? Diversify the portfolio.
But I think men actually do that all the time, and women know that they do that, because if you know women, you know that women always have multiple guy friends, and these guys have intention. But they don't say. A lot of them do. If they're befriending a girl, a lot of them have the intention that they like her, they want to see where it's going, and they're waiting for the other guy to fall off. I'm being honest. They're studying, and we know they're studying.
That's only the Christian boys and the F boys, okay? The guys that fall in between, they just like to, we just friends because we friends.
Because we friends.
Now, Paul, I will shoot you down.
Are there boundaries though in all these things that we're talking about?
I don't think so.
Before we get to that, Tim, doesn't finish your point, because that was a question I had about the boundaries.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, what Paul is saying. I heard you say you're a Christian. Me being a brother who grew up in the church. I see that a lot with my my Christian brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how their outlook on how to navigate in terms of relationship and stuff like that. And um, sometimes it also leads to them getting in trouble, because I mean, to follow Christ, in a sense, there's a lot of structure and a lot of rules, and as you try to stick to these rules, sometimes you get your hand caught in the cookie jar. You see a lot of pastors, you see a lot of elders, they are falling, and the Bible itself said this: the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
It's weak.
The Bible itself told you that, So I understand, but I feel like you have to be true to yourself. If you know you are a man of God, then truly flee from temptation. Because if you think you can be studying, the next thing you know, you will just eh? So please, you Christians, brothers and sisters, please, I'm urging you, please be careful. That's all.
Mike, and the boundaries. I don't know what you were gonna say, Mike, but where is the boundary? In poly relationships, open relationships, like what I mean, like you mentioned earlier about trust and conversation, which is great, but where is the boundary in this? It got
the boundaries depends on each individual polyamorous relationship. Some people have like a cap to where it's going to be a 3-person cap. There's not going to be any more than 3 people in this polyamorous relationship. Some people have 5. It depends on, your specific relationship. But, and it depends on what exact boundary we're talking about. Like with me, with my polyamorous relationships, the women I'm with are allowed to have sex, do whatever sexual or romantic thing they want with whoever they want. But as long as what they're doing does not put me, my health in danger. Meaning, if I am having sex, if we are having fucking raw, you can't be fucking nobody else raw, because that's too much.
Tell them.
Too many things being shared there. Like I don't know that other person. I don't trust that other person. I trust you, but I don't know what that other person is doing. But you can protect the sex with whoever you want. So that's like a personal boundary for me and relationships that I've been in.
But sometimes things get heated and you may even start off protecting. No. Sometimes you start off protecting, and then in the middle of the session, something, you just
can't relate. Can't relate, bro.
Oh, God bless you, Michael. God bless you, Michael. I've been there, done that.
You're a strong guy.
I'm telling you, fine. Exactly.
I'm too paranoid. It's because I'm doubly paranoid. I don't want kids at all, like ever, and I don't want and STDs. Nobody wants STDs, so I have 2 reasons to be careful. So
So wait, hold up, man. Like
that's a lot of rules.
A lot to unpack.
Why? See, children watching this. Let me not tell you what to do. Because, right, I'm like all over the place right now.
You're blushing.
Reflexes come. You don't know where to start.
Hey yo, Therese, help me out, man. Say something, Therese.
I mean, for me, I feel like I'm not polyamorous, but I feel like the boundaries are more flexible and fluid when it goes past one person. Like there's no telling. You can trust your partner and say, oh, they're gonna be careful, they're gonna protect themselves from the person, but you don't know where that other person is coming from, and you don't know what they're about. And then you go off and you go do your own thing. Now we have 4 moving parts. It's hard enough to handle 2 people in a relationship. Like, just be upfront. It's hard enough. There's enough work in that. And then now I gotta worry about you and who you're smiling with and who you're having dinner. Yeah, that's too much work. But I do feel like at the end of the day, we all have that nature to be polyamorous in us,
Of
but
course.
we're
Yeah.
all not built for that.
Except
We're not
for
built for
Paul.
that. Like, yeah,
Except
he
for-
he is brave. Like
Yo,
you really have to be brave and strong to go, and that's
Yeah.
risky business. Like it couldn't be me. But
I,
if I had the courage to do that, hell yeah, I will. Because you know what? Sometimes you be here and one man girl or one woman man, and you're in a polyamorous relationship and you don't even know it.
of course.
Of course.
Consent, I feel like consent is not the issue. I feel like the issue is the other person actually
Communication.
going out and acting on their feelings for somebody else. They could
Yeah.
consent with you or not.
You see,
There's no telling you, there's no way you can know that. But shoot, I mean, if
I
I
mean, that's
had
the
the
thing.
courage and the bravery, man, I'd be with 4 other people too. The more the merrier. Just
Is
saying.
that for?
Terence, tonight I will pray for your bravery. I will,
Amen. I
I will
receive
pray,
it.
I will pray for your bravery. No, I think human beings were just different though. I feel like you can have some human beings who are that poly style. It just doesn't interest them. It could be religious reason, it could be cultural reasons, for
Mhm.
whatever reasons. Whereas, like you said, I feel like a lot of most humans do have that nature because it's like, okay, you can have more than one car, more than one house, more than one this, more than one that, more than one degree. But it's like when it comes to a spouse, it's like I can only I can only have one. However, these feelings that I don't control, it's kind of I'm noticing Nash, I'm noticing body, I'm noticing beautiful face, I'm noticing that you are respectful or whatever it is that
Mm-hmm.
that you gravitate. You're noticing it in other people, but it's like you can't act on it. So it's kind of like those feelings like, damn, why can't I act on it? But I feel like I want to. So it's
That's a
like,
good point.
you know what I'm saying? So I think that's that inner conflict that a lot of people deal with. But then I wouldn't say everyone deal with it because some people's maybe lifestyle has conditioned them, or they just don't have those urges or those interests because of maybe their discipline or whatever it is. Whereas most people though, I think most people have that. And like I said, as a counselor, I talk to them all the time, literally all the time. Whereas like I was about to share earlier, I have a client that's married and his wife has 2 kids, but no, they haven't had sex in a year,
God forbid.
and
Shit.
he has
A
urges
year.
a year, and he has urges like he's like, man, I service myself all the time. I see beautiful women every day. I want to, act
Shit.
on it, but
Mm.
he's staying in his marriage because of
Couldn't
the
be me.
kids, because you know what I'm saying, and that's a lot of people. So I'm
I
telling
think
you, man.
I think the most interesting thing about what is it, polyamorous?
Uh-huh.
Polygamous? All right.
Polyamorous.
Polyandry,
Relationships
whatever, something like that.
is the fact that there's so much like the communication aspect of it, because in the whole thing, that from what he's saying and what I've seen online, it's like people are just communicating with each other and saying we're in a relationship together, but I'm free to explore other people or situations if need be. Because I feel like a lot of us are thinking like it's just like, oh, I'm fucking this person, fucking that person, fucking this person. And I don't think it's like you're fucking 10 people at the same time. I feel like you guys are moving in a relationship together, and correct me if I'm wrong. And then if you see someone who you're interested in and that person piques your interest, you can tell your partner like, hey, I know, I've met this person. I would like to explore that feeling that I have for this person. And I just want you to be aware. I don't know. Is that how it goes, or?
So in the polyamorous relationships that I've been in, we don't really discuss the other relationships we have with other people unless it just naturally comes up in conversation. Like, I'm just not gonna call my girl and be like, I'm not just gonna call my girl and just be like, hey, yo, so I met this girl last night. We had sex, we hit it off or whatnot. Like, I don't know. That's just not how it's been. in my personal relationships, it's just an understanding that we may or may not be seeing other people. But once it gets serious, then that's when I'll divulge that information. But sometimes we might be in the car. Like I've literally been in the car with Shorty, and she's brought up something that happened between her and a guy, or I brought up something that's happened between me and another woman, just casual.
But you don't know until she says something.
Yeah, we don't know she said something. Unless it's serious, like I don't really care to know unless it's serious, because it doesn't affect me whatsoever. Like I really do not care if you're seeing another guy. That doesn't make me feel like you like me any less. And if you do like me any less, that really doesn't bother me much either. I'd be like, oh, okay, we're talking like, okay, why do you like me less? Is this something that I'm doing? Maybe I'm not living up to what I could be doing as a boyfriend. I'm not appreciating you enough or whatnot. If that's the case, we can have a conversation. But if it's just like people growing apart, then that just happens. It's life.
Hey.
So maybe also just wanted to add another thing. Maybe I'm just assuming, but I would imagine that polyamory would be easier with, for example, Mike, you said you don't want children and you never want children, and you know that. Now, there are many people who love children and would love to bear children into this world. So I'm just thinking, I think there's also an awareness of all the responsibilities that come with it. For example, even in my monogamous situation, when I think my husband, he has said something to me one time, and I thought it was so funny. I think I was giving him a hard time about something, I don't know. And he said to me, wow, how do people who have multiple women out there, how do they do it? Because I can barely handle you alone. He said something like that. And also I know people, I'm from Cameroon, and I have some friends who actually grew up in not just polyamory, but actual polygamy, where there are multiple wives and multiple children involved. And all of I don't know many of them, but all of them that have shared with me their experience growing up in polygamous households, it seemed like it was mostly negative. Maybe they felt some neglect because there's just so many people. There's so many people to account for. So maybe they felt neglected. Maybe they felt even some rivalry with other siblings. So I think that some people also don't want to deal with this lifestyle, not because they're necessarily against it or whatever, but it's just when they consider the other things that they want, such as children, such as, I don't know, whatever. The polyamorous lifestyle just may not be possible, may not be realistically feasible.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, there's reasons, like societal reasons, to be in a monogamous relationship. When you marry somebody and you guys are together, that can help financially. If you're legally married, that comes with certain benefits. So there are things that you give up when you're polyamorous, but the things that you give up when you're polyamorous doesn't really make a difference to me. Like I don't really care to get financial help from anybody legally. Like I'm good on my own. So that was the easy thing to give up. The children thing, easy to give up because I don't want children. I don't want to get married. So like it really all depends on you. And there are people in polyamorous relationships that are married or have children and whatnot and all that. But I think when you said think about most of the things you've heard about polyamorous relationship, it was like a negative experience. I feel like that has more to do with the people themselves than polyamory, as in a whole. Because if you're not able to function well, if you're not able to function in a relationship, by your, in a monogamous relationship, or you're not whole as a person, there are going to be problems when you come together with somebody else. Period. Yeah. So it doesn't matter whether it's one person or two people or three people. Me, like a lot of people say, oh, Michael, how do you quote unquote juggle more than one woman at a time? I'm like, it's not, this might be controversial. You know how everybody says like relationships are work and sometimes things are going to be stressful and you're going to struggle through love. I do not believe that should be the case at all. I feel like if two people are actually compatible, you fit together like a puzzle piece rather than trying to jam a piece in there that doesn't fit. Yes, you're going to have struggles. You might have struggles within, like, I don't know, like relationship struggles, like, oh, we're looking for a house or groceries or whatnot, but not struggles kind of like involving your compatibility and your love. So it's never hard for me when it comes to multiple women, because the women that I talk to, I'm like super compatible. Like when I go on a date, I ask all the hard questions on the first date. I don't play any games. We're getting to know each other. I make sure we're compatible because I'm not wasting my time, you know?
So what are the things that you don't like about that lifestyle, if anything?
About polyamory?
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything I dislike about polyamory. I feel like, I mean, there are somebody didn't bring this up to me, but a critique that I thought of for polyamory is like, when you're monogamous with somebody, right? You have time and it's only one person, because you are sacrificing the right to be with other people. I feel like there is a tendency for there to be a stronger relationship, because when something is hard and you're sacrificing, you know, there's a tendency for that thing to be, you know, to seem more rewarding to you. Like, it's like the difference between somebody handing you $1 million and you going out and earning it through blood, sweat, and tears. So that's a possible critique right there. But I don't think it's necessarily valid for all relationships. Like, I can have a very fulfilling relationship with somebody polyamory, just like I can in a monogamous relationship. So there's really nothing in polyamory of itself that I dislike personally.
Okay.
Is there anything that any of you monogamous people dislike about being monogamous?
Gee.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I mean, Therese already told us that once she gets the courage, it's a
Right.
wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
What's up?
Yeah, I feel like there's more of a tendency for people to be dishonest and untrue in monogamous relationship than they are if it's a known polyandrous situation, because you know that, well, you know, I feel like, you know, on the one hand, you know it's allowed, so you know, like, there's no point in being sneaky about this. But now you're trying to be monogamous, and you know, they're like, oh, I'm not built for this. I'm not trying to commit. You know, I'm not trying to be tied down or whatever. And then they lie on you and they're dishonest. So I feel like that's the one thing about monogamy that I'd say it's for me.
It's a whole different. It's a whole interesting conversation going on YouTube right now. The people, they're lit on that one on YouTube right now.
What they saying?
Let me answer.
Dr. Femdiza, I think you just got a client. Somebody wants to get counseling from you.
Oh.
Hey.
Just got a client.
Hey, we need that cash shot.
That's what's up.
Mike got some fans, Mike got some haters, but I'm sure that comes with the, you know, the lifestyle.
Hey, that's why they hating though.
The one big question that we're gonna end with is, the one big question is, let me find that question. Oh, it's not really a question. The big consensus is you can't really love two people at the same time. I know we touched on this earlier.
I think you can.
You can. Can I share a story? I've actually been in that situation, and it was crazy for me because I was like, God damn. I was questioning myself because, like I said, I grew up in the church. You feel me, brother Paul? But I was like, I'm just messing with you, Paul. Don't no vex. Yeah, but you know, I mean, I've always been a flexible brother, though. However, you know, at this point in my life, I was trying to, you know, change from my ways. You feel me? And you know, I had started dealing with this young lady, and like 2 weeks later, I met another young lady. And it's crazy because when I met her, we connected so much that same night, I imagine meeting somebody and be like, nah, I can't even vibe with you on that level because I'm like, yo, I just don't want it to be a situation where I would ever hurt you. This was our first night that we met. And I'm like, yo, I'm just starting to get to know somebody, and it's only 2 weeks. So it's like it's fresh, but it wasn't at the point where I feel like, you know, I should like not explore. However, I knew I really had interest in the first girl, but then this other girl comes in, like we connected so hard, like we were so compatible. And I told her that off our first meeting, and she felt disrespected because she's like, I'm just meeting you and you telling me all this. You know, months later, however, things hit the fan because, you know, I had progressed with both women, and then they 2 weeks apart, you know what I'm saying? So I did this thing for like a year and a half, or about 2 years, you know what I'm saying? We
Confessions.
you know
Did you win any of them? Or you lost
huh?
both of them?
Oh no. I mean, you know, I parted ways. You know, ended up parting ways. But I you know, I shared that to say, like, yo, it can happen. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you know, we got deep with both of them beautiful black queens. You feel me?
All right. So
I don't
I
get why
guess
people say it can't happen when it happens all the time. Like people, there are
Right.
movies made about this. People say this all the time. They've been in love, but like when you say it can't happen, just say you can't do it, or it's not for
That's what I was
you.
gonna say. Just say you do
Yeah.
like
I
do it.
guess call me old school, right? But for me, it's more like life decisions can always be based on feelings because you feel, right? It can't be always I feel and then you act on it, right? At some point, you got to make a decision and say, this is what I've decided to do, like my brother Michael, and stick with it. You know what I'm saying? All these feelings you guys are talking about, yeah, we do have them. But at some point, you got to make a conscious effort and say, okay, this is who I am. This is my definition of what I want to do. And it's not all about the feelings that I'm getting, the exterior feelings that I should react to, always react to, right? So that's how I look at it, right? You can't.
But Paul, I feel like you're mixing two things. You're mixing two things here, Paul.
Yeah.
They want to
You're
jump on you, Paul.
Yeah, no,
I'm
yeah,
ready.
I'm gonna jump on him. You're
I'm ready.
mixing two separate things, though.
I'm ready.
You're mixing the fact that you can be with someone and still feel something for someone else, and the fact that you're with someone and you choose not to act on those feelings. That those are mutually exclusive
absolutely,
things.
absolutely. But
So
I'm saying
it's regardless whether you're a Christian. I'm a Christian too.
it's not about Christian. I didn't say anything.
It's regardless of people's. No, I'm not talking about you. It's regardless of your Christian beliefs, of your religion. It's about how you feel, and I feel like it is very possible to like two people. I have liked two people at the same time at some point in my life, but you know that sacrifice doesn't come in unless, why do we say, oh, you have to have self-control and discipline? Self-control, all those things do not come in unless there are options.
True.
Unless there are options and we're humans, there's always options. Just because I fell in love with you and I chose to be with you, don't mean I'm blind. You know, like I'd see people and guess what? I'd see someone else out there who would act better than the partner I'm with all the time. There's someone always prettier. There's someone always better than the person you're with. But you chose, you know, that's who you've chosen to be with, and you make that conscious decision to say, okay, you know what? I might like this person, or I might do this, but I chose to be with this person.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
It does not cancel that feeling, though.
I think y'all say the same thing.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. But I think the difference is, I think Therese is acknowledging that you can be committed to somebody. That doesn't mean that those feelings are not there, but you just decide to not act on it because
you're
let's
still
say
gonna have those feelings.
Yeah,
but the feeling is there.
But the feeling is there.
The
So
feeling is
just
there.
just like you, I mean, if you you're Christian, you believe the Bible, and Therese did a good job mentioning self-control. Those words exist because those temptations are there. And actually, I was gonna answer that when you asked what's the hardest thing about being monogamous, and I think this is just that. Because being in a monogamous relationship, it's like it's a choice. It's not because this is going to be the most handsome person or the prettiest girl. No, but it's almost like you chose to be that person. And you know when those temptations come in,
Yep.
That time when you have small arguments with your man, that's when the devil, that's when that boy, your ex, you haven't spoken to in years.
It'll start calling you.
Magically, you just bump into him in the store. Hey, look,
I got another shorty.
I'm telling you. So it's like you always have to be on your guard because those temptations are there. But it's like that's the hard part because you made a choice to just be with this person despite those temptations.
I would also like to say, since I know Paul said, before, like he grew up in the church and whatnot and all that, and he's following the monogamous route. I grew up in the church too. Both of my parents are pastors. My auntie and uncle are pastors.
Flip the script.
I used to be in church 5 days a week.
My God.
Share, Mike.
Flex knows
You
this.
needed to share this in the beginning.
Those PKs are the baddest, man.
That just took your bravery to a whole other level.
That's it.
Wow.
Like Flex knows this. I was actually vice president of a youth ministry at our university or whatnot. Like I was super into all of it, but like I just made the decision for what works for me rather than what people were telling me to do.
King Solomon.
So this is we run short on time, but I appreciate all of y'all, man, and Mike and Paul and Giselle and Sarah and Fem. The bravery, whatever. I think in our culture right now, autonomy is something that a lot of people, majority of us in this Generation Z, and our generation, we want to be autonomous, but that doesn't change the fact that we still creative beings, and by that comes also a set of morals that like we still gotta live by. As far as like there's gonna be temptations and things like that when this notion of relationship was created, and the first man and woman married together. It was like a thing that was supposed to be for just them. When Adam, so if he was like, hi, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, that shit was bad, And when we see sisters, we say, they're bad. It's just a choice of, I'm an artist, I travel, I do shows. I've done shows internationally, Like when I'm committed, to my lady, it's like I'm leaving the stage back to my hotel room and back to my house, Like nobody got nowhere. And that's that active discipline route of like, you staying monogamous. But I ain't knocking nobody who is polygamous or open relationship. It's intriguing. It's that's why we have these conversations. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If you need therapy, and that's something that you struggle with, like seek it. If you're in a monogamous relationship, please continue pursuing it. If you're in a polygamous relationship, I would say, come back to the right senses that but
if you're trying to explore like me,
I'm gonna love you regardless. So yeah, that's just my point of that. So I'm gonna open it, for last remarks, and tag your last remark with like something that you want to promote. I know Mike, for example, he has an awesome blog that I read. He got an article on there that I think every dude should read. When y'all go on his website, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. So last remarks, and then tag something that you just want to promote, whatever you're doing, and then we're gonna close.
I guess I'll go first. I guess last remarks. One thing I want to dispel is like I feel like before I like plug anything, I feel like people also think that polyamorous relationships aren't as deep as fulfilling, and there's a lack of care in relationships because you're just like open to a whole bunch of people, and that's not true. Like I've had deep moments like with the women that I've been with, we take care of each other or whatnot. Like if you need something, I got you. I've helped the women that I've with pay rent or whatever, not as like a flex thing, but just like I care about you. I see you struggling. I'm gonna help you. So all of that, like it's just about sex thing, needs to like be like completely dispelled. And I guess we got to plug something about ourselves. I guess I never really said what I did at the beginning of this. I'm a photographer and a writer. Those are probably my two most, the mediums that I'm active in the most. If you go on my IG at Open Mic, you'll see in my bio, I think I have a link to my last article up, and I think the article was about sex and how like a whole bunch of women have not came from sex with another man, and how we can stop that. It's a long 15-minute read.
What's the handle, please?
That
If you go on my IG at open mic OHPENMIKE and you click the article, you know it's just a long article about how to please your woman and actually listen to her and what she wants in bed rather than just to be like you trying to beat the pussy up all the fucking time, because that's not what women want you to fucking do. So
Thank you, sir.
Right, could use those tips. Thank you.
Micah, Chai.
Well, last remarks and then tag something.
No, I actually did learn a lot about this conversation. I thought it was really, really interesting. Learning from Brother Michael's perspective. And I said, again, it's a personal preference. Depending on where you think you fit most, I say go ahead. I compare this to the idea of gay marriage, right? It came and everybody was just punching it like it's a bad thing, right? And now it's universally accepted. So I appreciate you, Brother Michael. You know, if that works best for you, great. And I think, you know, you actually opened my eyes to something that I perhaps never really.
Don't be straight. We'll let us straight.
Brother Paul has crossed onto the
I
dark
haven't changed. You
side.
haven't changed. I'm still.
Come to the right side, Paul. I got you. I would dash
Paul,
you some
I'll
women.
have your back. I will make sure you stick to the.
No more window shopping.
Yeah. As far as what I do, man, so I'm into mobile apps. So if you have an idea out there that you want to kind of like partner up to build, to get it out there in the app store, you know, I'm willing to work with you because I have that experience of like working with different apps in the app store. So if you have any idea, that kind of stuff, you want to get it developed, if you want me to help you, I'll definitely be able to.
Are you the visionary, the businessman, the marketer, or the coder? Do you do coding or what?
I do coding as well. I do coding and also the project management aspect of it as well. So whatever you need, I'm very, you know, multi-oriented in different type of stuff.
Gotcha.
Paul, drop your handle in the chat.
More like on Instagram.
Yeah,
so
drop.
Yeah, on the group.
It's on the flyer, guys.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, my name is on there. Yep.
Oh, I'm tripping.
Everybody watching on YouTube right now, shout out to Uncle AK. Shout out to AK, our producer. He's been putting the handle, so appreciate that, AK. Thank you so much. Sarah, how you feeling? Talk to us, girl.
I feel good. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like it was an interesting conversation. And definitely thank you to Mike for dropping the bomb at the end. I think it also changes like a lot of people's perspective and opens up their mind to you know, other forms of relationship, because we're all different. We all bring different, we all cope with the world differently. We bring different aspects to, you know, this life. That's what makes it interesting. So I'm so happy that I was a part of the conversation. And I want to thank you guys stuck in the middle. And I would say follow my podcast. She is Affirmed. And also She is Africa. They're both on YouTube, Spotify. I mean, not YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Yeah, follow me, subscribe, rate it. That's it.
Giselle, when is that new episode coming through?
Say that one more time.
When is the new episode of She's Africa?
Oh yeah, due to pandemic reasons, things had to be put on hold for a little bit. But as soon as we have new developments, you know, we'll let everybody know. But yeah, I am really glad that I was that I had this conversation.
There's a polygamous relationship in your show.
Huh?
I think there's some polygamous relationship in your show.
Yeah, something like that, you know, something like that. And but for real though, I think the world that we live in now, it's very important for each person, each individual to try to understand how the other person thinks, what they may be going through, or how they even see the world. If everybody did that, if everybody took part in conversations like this and learned even just one thing, I think that a lot of the problems that we have today would be maybe not completely resolved, but will be at least on our way. So I definitely learned some new things, thanks to Mike and thanks to everybody. So I have a brand new YouTube channel. It's barely like a week old, And on my YouTube channel, I discuss locks. And I like to think of it as a medium to challenge stereotypes because, I mean, we've seen some of the articles about discrimination based on Black people's hair, especially Black women's lifestyle. And I like to think of my channel as a medium to challenge those stereotypes and to promote a good image of Black women, African women, the way God created us. And we don't have to, fit to a certain standard to be accepted. We're beautiful, we're intelligent, we're magnificent the way that God created us. And so that's the new journey I'm on.
You and Sarah need to hook up there. I see a little hooking up.
Yeah. Right. That's a new journey I'm on. So my YouTube channel is Gigi's Lock Garden. And my Instagram is Gigi Esquis. It's on the flyer. I know the spelling is a bit difficult, but I'll be looking forward to more conversations like this in the future. You know my number, Flex.
If you kissing dude in your show and then you're in a polygamous relationship, I'm kidding.
That's like a whole different conversation. We can talk about that.
M Dizzle, what's good, bro? Let's shout out Africans before they kill you.
Hey man, another great dialogue, man. Thank you to everybody, on this panelist. Hey, brother Paul, man, I was joking with you, bro. I don't want you thinking, I'm gonna definitely hit you up on the app tip, man. Brother Mike, man, you did your thing. You rep your set for all the Will Smith and Jada Pinkeys out here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, bro, and then all the beautiful Black queens. You know what I'm saying? Again, Therese, I will pray for your prayer. You will get that courage and you will go to the Mike side. What? Mike, in fact, I think you both need to connect. You need to talk to her more. Because it seems like she's almost at the edge of the cliff. But all in all, I just feel like, man, we're all different. We're all different individuals in all aspects of life. So what we desire wouldn't be any different. So it's like, just know yourself, and you know what I'm saying. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you are. Stay true to your beliefs. No one can judge you but your maker. So you know what I'm saying. Live your truth, and that's what I gotta say to that. I don't judge nobody. I'm focused on myself, my life. I'm on my journey. It is what it is. So I just encourage everybody, you know what I'm saying, spread love, especially amongst us melanated folks, you know what I'm saying. Let's look out for one another, man. Let's stay connected. Let's uplift one another, you know what I'm saying. Whatever it is, whatever our expertise is, let's try to, give back, mentor somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad that you, like I said, RifleX, I got this platform and y'all using it for some positive. You know what I'm saying? This world is crazy. I don't need to tell you that. So let's just, be the light that this world needs. So we can continue to, grow and flourish. That's my message, man.
Also, 1/4 of the Africanist podcast is for African brothers. They're funny.
Yeah. Check us out, man. Check us out. We just dropped a fire episode like yesterday. We had 2 Black women lawyers on. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful episode. Please check it out.
Therese, what you want, girl?
Well, I mean, Mike, I'm going to be following you on social media, that's for sure. I need tips on how to be brave and courageous, but I mean, I'm glad because I didn't just learn from, Mike, who has an opposite view from mine, like even the people that I'm on the same side as, so I'm glad to be here. We should do this more often,
This is I appreciate all y'all, man. I'm gonna stick to the one woman, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna keep it like that. Hey, appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. This has been love. Again, like everybody said, we should do this again. And shout out to the August Alcimas out there, the Jadas, the Wills, you know what I'm saying? Mike, shout out to the Paul, shout out to Sarah, shout out to the Giselle, shout out to the Dr. Fem Dizzles. Everybody watching on YouTube, we appreciate y'all. The conversation has been popping. I would encourage everybody, you know what I'm saying, like, in a relationship, especially the married women. I don't know what y'all situation is. Hey, I ain't want to speak on it, but go read Mike's blog. I'm advocating for that. That's the one thing I would promote. Go read that blog. I don't share Mike's views, but
I started already. I like the title.
I would promote that blog. Anyway, appreciate y'all. AK, thank you so much. This has been dope. We are signing out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone.